Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is calling on U.S. President Donald Trump to visit Ukraine. He says he wants Trump to see for himself the reality of Russia's war on his country before he makes any deal with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Zelensky was on CBS program 60 Minutes in an interview recorded before a devastating strike yesterday on the Ukrainian city of Sumy. At least 34 people were killed, more than 100 were injured. Anna Cunningham is following the developments in that from our bureau in London. A huge strike yesterday, Anna, one of the largest on civilians as they were going to Palm Sunday services at church. It was a striking situation. What have we been hearing about the details and reaction?
Yeah, you're right, Heather. The biggest missile strike of the war so far, and those victims, Ukrainians, as you said, going out for Palm Sunday church services. There were people shopping or simply just cycling in the streets. The images that we're getting out of Sumy this morning show that cleanup is ongoing. Those buildings visibly pitted with shrapnel. You can see there the cars that were on fire when those missiles hit yesterday. Let's take you to some reaction that we've had in from the US President Donald Trump. Now, he was asked about the Sumy strike on board Air Force One. Take a listen.
I think it was terrible, and I was told they made a mistake. But I think it's a horrible thing. I think the whole war is a horrible thing. I think the war is, for that war to have started, is an abuse of power. This country would have never allowed that war to have started if I were president.
So President Donald Trump saying there he was told it was a mistake. Heather, Ukrainians have been countering that this morning. I've heard one Ukrainian MP describe those comments as preposterous, suggesting it just emboldens the Russian President Vladimir Putin. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, though, has been reaching out to President Trump. You mentioned he'd done this interview with CBS News, and it was recorded before the Sumy strikes on Sunday. In it, he says this: "We respect your position. You understand. But please, before any kind of decisions, any kind of forms of negotiations, come to see people, civilians, warriors, hospitals, churches, children destroyed or dead. Come look, and then let's move with a plan on how to finish the war. You will understand with whom you have to deal." Look, Heather, overnight there have been further drone strikes, this time hitting Odessa. As to whether that invite will be taken up, for now there's been no reaction from the White House. Heather.
I'm wondering, Anna, in the midst of these strikes and the ongoing fighting, ceasefire negotiations involving Russia and the United States and Ukraine, they all seem to be going nowhere. European leaders are weighing in today. What are they saying?
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, Ukraine had agreed to a maritime ceasefire brokered by the US. Russia did not. It said it still wanted conditions met. President Trump sent his own special envoy, Steve Witkoff, back to Russia to meet President Vladimir Putin on Friday, urging him to move on. European ministers are meeting this morning in Luxembourg. Let's take a listen to the EU's foreign policy chief.
We have to put the pressure, the maximum pressure on Russia to really end this war, because it takes two to want peace. It only takes one to want war, and we see that Russia really wants war.
The British Prime Minister Keir Starmer saying he was appalled by the Sumy attack. French President Emmanuel Macron's accused Russia of blatant disregard of human lives, international law and the diplomatic efforts, he said, of President Trump. So far, though, we've not heard from the Kremlin. Heather.